Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the aspect of the apocalypse. All right. Now, this video is not to scare you, but it's going to give some sort of scientific proof and also a form of premonition. All right, that have been said by many different people. All right, I'm going to give you three different aspects. We're going to use the Bible. Then we're going to go into detail on how science has proven a lot of these things. But we're going to discuss the aspect of the apocalypse. All right. Now, many have come to believe that in 2023, that this will be the year of deep changes and a lot of disasters. All right. Now, from the viewpoints of Nostradamus, okay, and also Chauncey Powers Thomas, okay, we could be facing an apocalyptic event. All right. Now, Nostradamus was actually deemed to be a prophet, okay, and he was actually able to see things before his time. All right. Now, Nostradamus was actually raised by a Jewish family, okay, that was forced to convert to Catholicism. All right. Now, this actually caused a lot of resentment from Nostradamus, as well as a lot of other Jewish people, okay, being forced to basically change your religion, okay, against your will, was kind of like unheard of at the time. All right. But they would practice the whole faith of Jewish Christianity. All right. But at the age of 19, he went to the University of Avignon, all right, to actually study medicine, all right, and he actually became one of the smartest in medical studies. Now, during this time, okay, his peers were actually jealous and began to send out spies, all right, to watch his every move, in hopes to find out his secrets to how he knew all of this knowledge. All right, because a lot of other people that were studying medicine at that time didn't know the techniques that he was using. All right, but once they was unable to find out how he was using the techniques, a lot of these people assumed that he was working with the devil. Okay, like some sort of spiritual practice was done in order for him to gain this knowledge. All right. Now, during the bubonic plague, Nostradamus actually created a remedy, okay, to help build a lot of people in France immune system. All right, and this actually helped him and allowed him to become very famous all throughout France. All right. Now, while traveling and healing people of the plague, all right, his wife and children were at home actually dying from the plague. All right. Now, once he lost his family, he actually went on a hiatus. Like, he disappeared from the world for a long time. And a lot of people were out there looking for him, trying to find out where Nostradamus actually was. All right. But, I truly believe that during this time, he built up a lot of resentment towards God. All right. Because you got to think about it, the irony of having such great powers to actually heal people, all right, but you couldn't heal, the people that you actually love, which was his wife and children, all right. It's kind of like a slap in the face almost, all right. Now, when this took place, okay, he actually turned towards the occult, all right, and started practicing a lot of spiritual studies. All right, he was into astrology and also wizardry. All right. Now, some people would say a lot of the prophecies that Nostradamus would come up with was because of his reading of the stars. All right, he studied the whole concept of how the stars were aligned and would get his messages through that way. All right. Now, when he returned back to France, okay, he actually published his first book in 1555, which was titled Prophéties, okay, also known as Prophecies, okay, which a lot of disasters and catastrophes have actually came true that he wrote in this book. All right. Now, some people would dispute that Nostradamus may be a prophet, or that the powers that be could possibly be using these prophecies to carry out their plan. All right. But for the most part, a lot of, we wouldn't know the truth at all unless, a lot of this stuff came into play. All right. Now, one prophecy in particular that he describes is the cosmic threats. All right. So he says here, after peace, war, famine, and flooding, the impact will spread far, drowning great countries. All right. So it goes on to say, and the sky will be seeing red fire dragging a trail of sparks. All right. So this can go in the hand of what NASA stated. I know some people don't really believe in NASA and the whole aspect. I have some of my doubts too, but we won't be biased here. We're just going to take a look at a few things. So NASA had actually went on to say that there, in 2024, there will be an asteroid that will strike Earth. So it says here, now NASA has warned that an asteroid named 2007 FT3 may hit the planet on October 2nd, 2024. Due to its trajectory, the asteroid has now been picked up by the Sentry, NASA's impact monitoring system. All right. So
we know that there are large numbers of objects that are in Earth-crossing orbits.
Any object that is more than a mile across and is on an orbit that crosses the Earth's orbit is a potential threat.
These objects can sneak into the solar system unobserved. They may come in the future, and we may not have very much warning.
The last situation that happened such as far as with asteroids hitting the Earth was about 66 million years ago. All right, when an asteroid hit the Earth, wiping out 75% of life on the planet. Due to volcano eruptions and climate change, some would say this was the time when how dinosaurs actually became extinct. All right, you had you had humanity around this time, but a lot of them couldn't survive due to the smoke and the soot that was left off of the eruption that took place. All right. So now, if we're going to take a look at biblical terms, the same situation happened, not to mention about Noah's Ark, but I'll get into that as well. Now, let's take a look at a Bible scripture, which is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, where it says that all of humanity will be burnt up. All right. So it says here, but the day of the Lord will come like a thief, and then the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the heavenly bodies will be burnt up and dissolved, and the earth and the works that are done on it will be exposed. Now, if you pay attention to what's going on, we are in the expose era, all right, where everything is being exposed. All right, so now that's a clear indication that the earth will end by use of fire. All right, now many people have discussed this beforehand and said that, okay, well, the last time the earth was wiped out, it was the concept of Noah's Ark. All right, but then this time, the apocalypse that will take place will be of fire. All right, and now this is a representation of that asteroid actually hitting Earth. All right, where everything will be pretty much burnt to a crisp. All right, now Dr. Chauncey Power Thomas, right, who is actually an engineer at McDonnell Douglas. Now, McDonnell Douglas is an aerospace manufacturer. All right, they specialize in building spacecrafts and all of these type of things, airplanes and different things, helicopters. So he's had specialization. Also, he's actually a scientist, but he's had specialization in the whole concept of spacecrafts, okay, and visiting outer space. Now, he actually depicted a shift in the Earth as well in his book, which was titled The Adam and Eve Story. All right. Now, some may consider this theory to be pseudoscience, but if there happens to be a shift, it can actually cause a cataclysmic disaster. All right. Now, we're going to talk about the North and South Pole shift. All right. Now, the first actual shift that took place on the Earth was Pangea. Okay, now Pangea happened about 200 million years ago before humanity. All right, which actually broke into two new continents. All right, now one of the two continents was Laurasia and Gondwanaland. All right, now Laurasia today is known as North America. All right, and Gondwanaland is actually known as Antarctica, Australia, and South America. All right, but if we look here, all right, there is a separation between the two Americas. All right, which may actually prove that the Earth's rotation, it actually goes in different directions. All right, think of it like a piece of paper. Okay, like if a piece of paper is torn in two different directions, right, you get an effect which would cause a rip. All right, but if you try to tear the paper in the same direction, all right, it would actually do nothing. All right, same thing as if you take your you take your two index fingers, right, and point them towards each other. Say for instance, if you want your left finger to go clockwise and your right finger to go counterclockwise, right, it's pretty much impossible to do. All right, because you know that balance, you need that balance, that duality. All right, it has to be some sort of energy, a negative and positive. All right, so it's kind of like the same aspect or the same theory on how the Earth actually shifts. All right, now Dr. Chauncey Thomas says the next Earth shift will cause a cataclysmic disaster. All right, where the Earth will stop and begin to rotate in a different direction.
With a rumble so low as to be inaudible, then fueling into a thundering roar, the earthquake starts. Only it's not like any earthquake in history. In California, mountains shake like ferns in a breeze. A mighty Pacific rears back and piles up into a mountain of seawater more than 2 miles high, then starts its race eastward. The wind attacks, shredding everything in supersonic bombardment. The mountain of Pacific seawater follows the wind eastward, burying Los Angeles and San Francisco as if they were but grains of sand. Across the continent, the 1,000-mile-per-hour wind wreaks unholy vengeance everywhere, mercilessly. In many places, the Earth's molten sublayer breaks through and spreads a sea of white-hot liquid fire. In a fraction of a day, all vestiges of civilization are gone, and the great cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, New York, Boston, are nothing but legends. Barely a stone is left where millions walked just a few hours ago. South America finds the Andes not high enough to stop the violence. In less than a day, the entire continent is burned by molten earth fire, buried under miles of violent seas, then turned into a frozen hell. Everything freezes: man, beast, plant, and mud in less than 4 hours. Europe cannot escape. The Alps, Pyrenees, Urals are sunken, then heaved even higher when the wall of seawater strikes. Western Africa and the sands of the Sahara vanish. The fury marches on for 6 days. During the 6th day, the ocean starts to settle. The Bay of Bengal Basin just east of India is now at the North Pole. The Pacific Ocean just west of Peru is at the South Pole. New ice caps begin to form in the new polar areas. Greenland and Antarctica, now rotating equatorially, emerge with verdant tropical foliage. New York lies at the bottom of the Atlantic, covered by unbelievable amounts of mud. Of San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, and Boston, not a trace is left. The cataclysm has done its work and drives the pitiful few who survive into a new Stone Age. We join Noah, Adam and Eve, Atlantis, Mu and Olympus. And Jesus joins Osiris, Tahora, Zeus, and Vishnu.
All right, so as you can see there, he kind of described what would take place, as if, what would take place if this shift took place, right? And now, the most popular shift that was known to man that a lot of people are familiar with is actually Noah's Ark, all right, where it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, causing a massive flood. Another situation where a shift took place was also in China. With China's Great Flood, all right, that actually lasted 2 generations, all right, and they left their homes to actually live on high hills in the mountains, all right. Now, when we take a look at this, right, what it's basically going to do is, if this was to happen, all right, to humanity, it would basically cause a change in the atmosphere. All right, so when we see now temperatures are starting to get colder on the south region, okay, and places like New York is beginning to get warmer. Like right now, we're in January in New York, and it's like 50 degrees. All right, which is kind of unheard of, but it's letting us know that there is basically a shift going on. All right, there's been a lot of rainstorms in California as well, but this is letting us know that the earth is getting ready to actually shift and go in a different direction. All right. Now I want to talk about this book that Dr. Chauncey Thomas actually wrote. Okay. Now, some people would consider this to be, like I said, pseudoscience, but he had actually used a pseudonym name to write this book. Why? Possibly because, there's numerous stories of things being out there of him, being a part of the CIA as well. But actually, when he wrote this book, the CIA confiscated the story of Adam and Eve and deemed it as classified. All right. So this book was actually written in 1965, but it was banned. Okay, it was banned from the use of public, and when they banned it, they considered hiring him. All right, and when they hired him, they republished the book. All right, but when they republished the book, funny thing is that they left a few pages missing from the book. All right, so now when they leave a few pages leaving from the book, nobody knows what exactly was left out of the book, but needless to say, a lot of important documentation that was inside of this book was missing. All right, yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about this really quick. And like I said, it's not a fear-mongering video to scare you guys or whatever, but I just basically wanted to discuss the aspect of the apocalypse, all right? A lot of people think that it's going to be what we see in movies, right? But as you guys can see and understand that, a lot of this stuff that is predicted in the Bible and other forms of publications, a lot of this stuff is prophesied. All right, a lot of these things came true. So like I say all the time, guys, try to live righteous, be right, get your life right with God, because we never know when our time will come. All right, peace.